Am I doing this right? Oh, this is on. Hi! Every fashion house has its own aesthetic, and then every designer that's the head designer or creative director has their own way of filtering that aesthetic and injecting their own aesthetic into it and making that kind of work as a cohesive thing. And it's like, I mean, every brand has their own aesthetic. And what I want to do is I want to make videos for each brand where I talk about their aesthetic, where they're going, where they've been, their origins, like everything about them. I would really want to do the next one is Maison Margiela. And actually, something I want to touch on is I'm really interested because they just hired John Galliano as the creative director for Maison Margiela. Now, Maison Margiela, since the actual Martin Margiela left the house, has been a creative council of people that all work together to make all the creative decisions and everything. And now it's John Galliano. For those of you who don't know, Maison Margiela is very low-key designer. Like, they don't have big flashy labels. They have 4 little stitches in the back, 4 little white stitching in the back. They don't even really say Maison Margiela usually. It'll just have like a little square with a bunch of numbers on it. And they are very out there and they're very weird. And there'll be cut up, there'll be a jacket made of let's say a blazer made of 5 different pieces of other blazers that have all been almost Frankenstein together to make this crazy out there avant-garde amazing blazer. And excuse me, and John Galliano, from what we've seen from his own name brand, John Galliano, and when he was at Dior before he got booted for being a racist, he does very out there stuff as well. But so I'm really interested to see, and I've kind of been on the fence about it still, but they both have that out there avant-garde style, but where Maison Margiela has more of a low-key thing, and they're not very big about media attention. They're very, don't look at the designer, don't look at the employees, look at the clothes. It's all about the clothes. John Galliano is with his little pencil mustache and his ponytail and his fedora and him being shirtless with just a vest on and just looking literally, this is going to sound so hateful, but it comes from a place of love. But him being identified, if you were to go in the dictionary and look up the term queerbait, I'm pretty sure John Galliano would be there. But just dress how he dresses, and he's so oh, well, I think haute couture, blah 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 blah, sacre bleu. But he's very look at me, and his clothes are really just out there, and they're avant-garde, but more glamour avant-garde, where Maison Margiela is almost even more of a grungy avant-garde. Anyways, I'm just really excited to see how that plays out. Anyways, when I talk about brand aesthetics, it's really it's really I like to equate it with cars. It's a Cadillac is a Cadillac. It doesn't matter who's designing that Cadillac. It's always going to have that basic Cadillac shape to it, the general aesthetic of the Cadillac. It's going to go towards a target person. It's going to have that price point, and there's a lifestyle associated with it. Same thing with luxury fashion houses. Hermes is known for their leather work and the equestrian history to the brand. Louis Vuitton is known for their leather work, but also their history of just travel and innovation and being a forefront of just everything. I like to equate the fashion industry with professional sports, because from what I understand, I don't really watch any type of sports ball or anything, but I think it's there'll be a sports ball team, and then they switch players and they trade players off and stuff, and of course that affects how the overall team is ran. In fashion, there's always the creative directors transferring to another house, getting fired, quitting. Raf Simons left Dior. He was just like, I am an artist, and the fashion industry is a mess. Because the fashion industry is a mess right now. I mean, there used to just be like 2 collections. Spring, summer, fall, winter. That's it. Now there's spring, summer, pre-fall, fall, winter, cruise collection, fucking whatever collection. There's so many now, and Raf Simons was like, I'm an artist. I can't just look at something and be like, I'm gonna be inspired to make an entire collection off of this. Like, he needs time to, he's very quiet. He needs time to like look at, like, come up with that entire collection. Whereas Karl Lagerfeld could see a fucking plane flying in the air and being like, great, here's 90 outfits right off the top of my head, all inspired by that airplane and whatever. So Raf Simons was just like, I can't handle this. I don't like this anymore. And he left the house of Dior. Albert Alvarez was straight up fired for like, God knows why, from Lanvin. And can I just, by the CEOs, and can I just say that like, Albert Alvarez was fired from a brand that there wouldn't even have been a brand if not for him. But you know what, whatever. He's on to bigger and better things. I've seen the new Lanvin collection, and it's god-awful. It's like their hemmings weren't done right. The things were oversized, and they weren't doing oversized as an aesthetic. It was just almost like a mistake. It looked like the people that worked at Lanvin and made these things were just like, we're going to get back at you, but they didn't. I mean, they have a job that they need to keep. What else is going on? Marc Jacobs left Louis Vuitton, and he was actually the first actual fashion designer of Louis Vuitton. Before him, it was just like leather goods and stuff. But with him there, so he kind of cultivated the entire Louis Vuitton clothing aesthetic. And now Nicolas Gasquier is kind of doing his own spin on that. What else is going on? Alexander Wang, I believe, he left Balenciaga, which, I mean, honestly, to me, he didn't do anything with the brand. He just he didn't want to, like, put that Balenciaga aesthetic through the filter of Alexander Wang. He was just like, well, here's the Balenciaga aesthetic. I'm going to maybe tweak a little few thing here and there, but he didn't do anything amazing. I don't know where Alexander Wang is headed to now. I believe he might just be doing his own label, Alexander Wang. Denma Visalia is leaving, or left Vetements, which is like, in my opinion, Vetements, encore, because it's just like, I hate their stuff. Like, their shit, like, they have saddle pants first off, so let that sink in for a second. They have, they just have garbage. They had like a dress that Rihanna wore that with like Darth Maul on it. And it was like it was basically a Star Wars movie poster that got turned into a dress. And they just do ugly fucking shit. I hate it. And a lot of their stuff, like their graphic tees, they'll have like sayings and stuff that they found on Tumblr. Like, I've literally seen images of that juxtaposed together. I'm just like, oh, cool, whatever. But that was a collective as well, just kind of like Mason Margiela. But Denma Visalia left Vetements to join Balenciaga. So I'm really interested to see what he does as well. Anyways, this video's long enough. I've rambled and ranted and blah, 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 blah for long enough. But let me know who your favorite fashion houses are, who your favorite designers are. Actually, no, you know what? If you comment on here, tell me what your favorite, like, in your perfect world, what designer would be for what house. Personally, ooh. And they can't be dead, because honestly, I would just say I want Alexander McQueen back at Alexander McQueen. I want to see but like, you know what? No, they could be alive. They could be dead. I mean, they could be dead. I would love, like, I would give anything to see Alexander McQueen as the creative director of Louis Vuitton. Fuck me up, like, that shit. Woo! Jesus Christ.